r/nosleep. Posted by you/thatreallyshortchick. I'm the only one in my family who isn't a cannibal. Part 3. Hey guys. So, slight twist to the story. This is Alex typing right now. Angie wanted me to give you guys an update because she said she can't handle typing what happened out. To give you a quick summary, we're alive and okay, and by we I mean Angie, Lori, Miss Cora, Celia, and they're all asleep while I'm typing this. We're in some rundown motel in a random country town. We can't give you our exact location for obvious reasons. We've been on the run for a few weeks now. We had to get rid of the old phone because we were afraid of being tracked. By the time we got a new burner phone, though, Angie had forgotten the password to her Reddit account. But obviously she remembered it finally, so here we are. And boy are we glad to be out of that prison. Let me just tell you guys what happened. I by no means am a writer, so bear with me. Ignore any grammar mistakes I'll make, because I know there's going to be some. I swear, once we get over all this crap, Angie needs to be a writer. So Angie came down like she always does to bring us some food. And yes, she did write the advice you guys had on a paper plate. She somehow crammed all of it onto one, and I ended up getting it. I read her 2 past posts as well. Miss Cora, Celia, and I would like to thank you guys for all the helpful ideas you gave us. Anywho, let me finish the story. So we're sitting there eating. I'm taking my time eating so I can also discreetly read the ideas you guys had. That's when Angie's Neanderthal brother Elijah decides to make an entrance. I know Angie usually gives you guys a lot of dialogue, but I'm bad at remembering exactly what people said. I was also running off of pure anger and some adrenaline while this was happening. I'll do my best to remember it, but I honestly don't care if I get what he said wrong. He walks down the stairs and straight to Angie and says, "I've always loved you, Angie. Marry me so that we can make little incest babies and please our father." And then we all took turns projectile vomiting at him until he choked on it and died. Okay, no, that didn't really happen, but I've always known Elijah has had some sick obsession with Angie. It's like he thinks she's trying to play hard to get or something, but really she just really isn't into incest, 'cause, you know, that's freaking weird. Angie is sitting there talking to us as we eat, and he's just watching like the creep he is. Of course we all awkwardly stop eating as soon as he begins to do this. I do my best to hide the plate so he doesn't see what's on it. And then he just walks over, and starts playing with Angie's hair. Honestly, I'm so mad typing this right now that my hands are shaking. Just this feeling of pure rage came over me as I watched Angie's face contort into a face of pure disgust before she reached back and slapped his hand. Suddenly, everything gets very heated. He starts screaming at Angie, Angie starts screaming back, then surprisingly Celia starts screaming at him as well before I can back Angie up. Elijah notices this and walks over to her, which Celia takes into her advantage as she hawks the biggest loogie I've ever seen at his face. Then suddenly, like a gorilla or some crap, Elijah straight up rips the front wall of her makeshift cage straight off, which then in turn rips the shared wall we have off as well. Before he could get to Celia, I punched him right at his temple. We end up getting into a fight. Celia jumps up to try and help me, but Elijah hits her so hard she slams into the wall and crumples, then he turns back towards me. I'm so shocked and worried about Celia that he catches me off guard and starts choking me. I try to fight back, but Elijah is hopped up on some super strength or something. Just right when I feel like I'm about to pass out and I'm seeing Tweety Bird flying around his big head, Angie comes out of nowhere with a pitchfork. I don't fully register what's happening until she shoved it all the way through her brother. And then I start to scream like a girl because it almost goes into me as well, but she sees this and stops. She drops the pitchfork and runs to check on Celia, which then makes me scream again because Elijah falls on top of me. Blood had started to come out of his mouth, and it went all over my face and neck. I throw him off, and once we make sure Celia is still breathing, we release Miss Cora and smash the cameras. As Elijah is moaning in pain and bleeding out next to us, we discuss what our plans will be in the limited amount of time we have left, and we decide to wait till nighttime to do anything. Angie had the idea to ask Lori if she wants to watch movies all night like her and Elizabeth used to before Elizabeth died. She explained how Lori was always whining about how Elizabeth had always been her favorite big sister, so it would make Lori happy. All she had to do was wait until Lori fell asleep and sneak out. She said Lori wouldn't suspect a thing. She said her family trusted Lori, and that Lori trusted her. While we waited on Angie, Miss Cora and I made sure Celia was okay. She had been bleeding from her head from it being slammed on the wall, but we stopped the bleeding and bandaged it up with whatever we could find. She had woken up while we were cleaning her wound, but she wasn't talking a whole lot. The only thing she said was her head was hurting really bad, and we told her to try not to move too much. Angie brought a surprise with her when she came back down, though, Lori. She said Lori was leaving with us. I didn't think it was a good idea at all, but Angie promised Miss Cora and I that we could trust her. All they told us, at that time, was that Lori knew the code to the fence and that she had taken the tracker out of her parents' car and stolen the keys. We can thank Lori for getting us out of there. We're still watching her and being cautious, but she doesn't seem sketchy yet. Lori and Angie contemplated burning down the house like many of you guys said, but the twins are what made them decide against it because she said she didn't want to bring the twins. She said one day she would get them back, and then they could burn down the house then. We'll just have to wait and see how that goes. I was the one who drove the car. Angie, Celia, and Miss Cora slept, but Lori decided to stay up with me. It was awkward and quiet at first, but she broke the silence by saying, "You know my first two kids?" I was kind of shocked by how random it was, but I said yes. They were our father's. He didn't like how slow they were, even though that was his fault, and I found out he ate them. Is that why you didn't want the twins, either? I looked away from the road long enough to see her nod her head. I didn't know what else to say except I'm sorry. We spent the rest of the ride making some small talk, but that doesn't really matter. That was a few days ago. We've since ditched that car and stolen a new one. We've also been trying to move around as much as we can because their parents have reported them as missing, and they are saying I'm the kidnapper. Isn't that ironic? We're planning on getting a bunch of hair dye tomorrow. Gotta change our appearances. Celia is feeling a lot better. We were honestly worried we were going to have to take her to the hospital, but Miss Cora did some old school remedies as she put it. Anywho, I'm about to crash, guys. Angie told me to wake her up before I fell asleep so she could watch Lori. I'll try to talk her into updating you guys in the next few days. Cross your fingers. If you guys have any questions or feel like something I said didn't make sense, please comment. I'm honestly half asleep while typing this all out, so there's bound to be mistakes. Peace out.